Hey guys, this is Justin
And Bailey.
at the Survival Review, and today we're going to be talking about a little film, a little short, little small independent feature called Avengers Endgame. It's not a well-known movie. It's
Definitely not. It's actually very obscure.
very obscure.
But,
It's, only this...
you guys might be a little bored during this.
It's not like the culmination of a 22 movie series over 11 years or anything.
Oh yeah, nothing that cool.
So this is Endgame. And so I don't normally talk about the MCU too much on this channel, weirdly enough. Like, I do unboxing videos, but I don't really do many reviews. But I am a huge fan of this whole universe.
Yeah.
The movies have their ups and downs. Some are a lot better than others. But for the most part...
i.e. Thor the Dark World.
Yeah.
We'll forget that one exists for a little bit. No, just push that off to the side.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But like, the cinematic journey that we've gone on from 11 years to this, like, it's such an incredible achievement. So, of course, I mean, I don't even need to say this, but there was a lot going into this movie, especially after Infinity War and how that thing ended.
Yeah, 3.5 hours? No, 3 hours.
3 hours, exactly.
3 hours and 2 minutes.
1 minute. Yeah, 2 minutes.
3 hours and 2 minutes sitting in this theater.
Seeing the culmination of all
Brains
this.
just getting fried, and seeing 11 years in the making just come to life in one movie was just...
So to preface, this is going to be a quick spoiler-free video. I'm not going to discuss anything, not going to give away anything. We're going to save that for another video where we just delve right into it, and there's a lot to talk about. I'm just going to do this quick video since we have the time, and we are both very tired.
Very tired. So this video is going to be the We Are Nice People video. The next video is going to be We Don't Care About Your Feelings. We're just going to go into it. So
because this movie it's hard to really talk about without spoiling anything, because
it really is.
The trailers gave away nothing. Like, majority of this movie, almost like 90% of this movie, is like not even in the trailers, and it's just like, so I can't really say like anything. I can't even mention like a little plot point because that'll be considered a spoiler.
It really is, and the fact that normally after seeing a movie, we'll just jump right in and we'll do like, even if it's a big movie like with Star Wars, we did this non-spoiler and the spoiler like all in one night. We just kind of got it all out. We talked about it beforehand, and we need a night to think about it and process what we just witnessed. We need to make a list. So we're doing this one first, and then we'll move on to that.
So putting it this way, if you're a fan of the series, if you're like invested in these characters, emotionally invested, you will be satisfied. That's the best way to put it, is that this movie is satisfying in all the right ways.
It really is. And again, if you have been a Marvel fan throughout this whole 11 years and 22 movies, like, you will be very happy with this movie. Like,
yeah.
The detail and the CGI was at times, but for the most part,
effects were
beautiful.
better than in Infinity War. Definitely.
Yeah.
They definitely try to polish it and get it just right.
And as they should, with this being the end, literally the end game. So they should put effort into it.
What I like about this movie is the way the movie's structured. The first half that deals with like the aftermath of Thanos and everything is very slow and very deliberate and takes its time. And I like that. I like that a lot. Like, it really just kind of delved into the characters and their emotions. Like, every other scene in the first act of this movie is somebody crying, basically. But I really like that. I know some people might like that. I know maybe some kids might like get a little antsy during the first act. But I really appreciate it. There's like, no, we're going to take our time with this story. We're not going to just rush to get to the action sequences. Oh, exactly. Which is kind of like, I mean, I love Infinity War. That movie, like, to me, gets like better the more I watch it. But that movie is kind of strung along by like action set piece to action set piece, with a little bit of dialogue in between. And this doesn't do that, which I really like. It really just like takes it back and just tells its story and lets it kind of play out, which I really like. I really appreciated they would do that.
What I also appreciated was the fact that after what happened in Infinity War, you would assume that this is just going to be some dark and straight to the point movie, but there are parts of this movie that have the same Marvel quality to it, where it can be serious, but there are some jokes thrown in.
But that kind of leads to one of my few kind of like issues with the movie is, weirdly enough, this movie has more humor in it than Infinity War. At least it felt like there's more humor in it.
Humor and death.
And I didn't, not a lot of it, a fair amount of it didn't land for me. And there was a lot of kind of, I feel like the balance wasn't as quite well of like humor and serious. I don't know, like there's definitely some moments and some like humoristic kind of like situations and stuff that to me didn't just quite land. I was like, you could have done without that. Could just kind of streamlined it a bit, just kind of told your story. But I get it, like, this is the Marvel formula they've been doing for all this time, and, like, they gotta keep it going. But I kind of wish they would have kind of scaled back a little bit on the jokes in this one.
I also think, and we've already said this once before, but if you are prepared to get your mind blown by this movie, go see this movie. Like, immediately.
That's the thing, like, there's a plot point that happens pretty early on in the film that you don't see coming. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're like,
wait, that's throughout the film.
No, but I mean, like, there's this major point early on where you're like, okay, I know where this movie's pretty much gonna go, and then it does this one thing, and you're like, oh, okay. And I really like that because after that moment happened, I'm like, okay, I don't know where they're taking this. I don't know where they're going to go with it. And I really, like, there's some people that might not like that decision, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was really kind of ballsy of them just kind of, like, start out with that. And you're like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. There are so many twists throughout this movie, and, like Justin just said, there are so many times where you think that the movie is going to go one way, but it goes the completely opposite direction, and it really does make you sit there and just kind of, your mind is reeling like, did that really just happen? And it throws you off a bit.
And we've been discussing theories for this movie for like a year now.
Oh yeah.
And this movie has a good mixture of like
all of the theories
of what you think is gonna happen. Like, oh, like I think that's gonna happen, and it does. But then there's like something that you had no idea was gonna go in that direction, and it does. So it's a good like balance and like mixture of like your expectations, but also just going in totally different directions that you would not have expected them to take.
Oh yeah.
So it still like feels unpredictable, even though it does a few things that you're like, I kind of thought they would do that. It still feels unpredictable at times.
This whole movie, we went in just blind.
Yeah,
like, we had no idea what was going to happen. The trailers spoiled nothing.
I can't...
Honestly, all of the trailers just basically showed the first maybe 15 to 30 minutes of the movie.
Majority of the trailers are from like the first 30 minutes or so of the movie, with little shots here and there dropped in from later on. But those are like the most like unspecific shots that they could find.
Oh yeah. And it's just they really went all out with keeping the spoilers out and keeping the story pure, I guess.
Yeah, like they don't. The marketing didn't tell you like any plot points, and that's for the best, because it's like going into this movie like perfectly like fresh and not knowing what the storyline is was so exciting, because you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen at all.
It was terrifying.
I found it to be exciting, something that you don't see nowadays, especially with blockbuster movies where they're releasing trailer after trailer and you're getting so much footage that you can piece together the plots. This, you got none of that, and it was wonderful.
Before the movie, I kept saying, I am not prepared. And you know what? I was right. You won't be prepared. If you think you're prepared, you won't be. Well, it's an experience. It really is. It's an experience to be following these movies since the beginning and seeing it all come to life. And it's an experience to see them fully delve into what they could have. To see their true potential through these movies.
Because that's what I like to say is what I like about this movie is that like it's very uncompromising. Like this feels like the story the writers wanted to tell, and they just told. They're like, you know what, this may not make sense to some casual viewers, but whatever. Like this is the story they wanted to tell, and they just told it. And that's one of the things I love and really appreciated about this movie.
Oh,
is that that's what it felt like. It didn't really feel like a studio type of film where it's like, oh, you have to hit these check marks to make it like a modern blockbuster, which is them being like, we want to do this. It's a little crazy, a little weird, but we're gonna do it. And they're like, okay, go for it. And they did, and that's one of the things I really appreciated. Also, what's great is that, like, you know, this has been, like, advertised as, like, you know, like, the final movie, like, the big finale of, like, the classic, like, 6 Avengers, you know? And this really felt like their movie. Because this movie it has 3 kind of main, like, plot, like, structures to it. And especially the first one and especially the second focus, like, completely on the original crew.
Yeah.
And that felt very fitting. And I love that. I love seeing like these characters again, seeing them interact, like finally seeing Hawkeye again after like him being gone for the whole last movie. Where Infinity War was Thanos' film, this really is like the Avengers film. And you can, after seeing it, you can clearly tell why they changed the title from like Infinity War Part 2. Because it really isn't that. It really is a separate movie. Yeah, like everyone was like, oh yeah, like Infinity War ended on a cliffhanger. Like, oh yeah, they were trolling us. There really is a Part 1 and Part 2. It really isn't, to be honest. Like, this really feels like its own movie and its own story. And like, Thanos' role in this one is very different than his role in the first one, or in Infinity War, I mean.
Sitting through this movie, everybody is talking about how, oh, it's 3 hours long. Ooh, it's so long. It did not feel like 3 hours. No. Like, there is so much happening in this movie and so much that keeps you hooked into this movie. You do not even realize that it's been 3 hours. No. It went by so quickly, and I was still sitting there going, huh? Bring it back!
Yeah. The best way to like describe this movie is satisfying.
Very.
It's hard to describe because there's so much in it.
There's so many things that we wish we could say right now, but we can't say because it would spoil it.
The third act of this movie is insanity. It's a lot. It's a lot of movie. And it works. Like I said, I have a few gripes here and there, like some misplaced humor and, you know, some certain characters didn't work a whole lot. But, and, you know, some maybe plot discrepancies I can't get into now. But overall, it was just highly satisfying. Compared to, like, Infinity War is kind of more of the, like, superhero-y one, where it has a bunch of, like, cool superhero moments and, like, is, like, a lot of action. This one is different, and there's a lot more, like, storytelling to it, a lot more emotion, a lot of emotion to it. So
this one feels more relatable.
Personal.
Yeah. Personal, relatable.
Yeah.
Like, what people would actually do if something like this were to happen. And I think that's what makes this movie even better, is when you're watching it, you don't see actors, you see actual people, and it looks like real emotion. So it hits you a lot harder than just a sad movie would. Like, it hits you a lot harder.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It really is.
So that's all I really got to say, non-spoiler wise.
Hey, I guess you could say it's marvelous.
It's too late for that.
Fuck you, I'm tired.
So that's all we have to say for now. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.